special guest. If you could click on that for me, Stout. We got a special guest today, so I'm going to bust through these slides real quick so we can get to, hearing a little bit from them today as well. But just stop it. Start too early. We do have the Law of Leadership, or 21 Laws Leadership meeting on Monday, Law of the Process. If you guys want to come join us, feel free to do that. I don't know where we're at right here, but we got, don't forget, we do have this trip going on, Stout. If you want to go ahead and hit me. We got the Dominican Republic trip. I know Seth and Mara have spent a lot of money to get us out there. Who's excited for the Dominican Republic trip? I know, let's go. I just want to give you guys a heads up. We got a couple people in this room that are already qualifying for it. A couple newbies actually right on the outskirts as well. That's right there, Alicia. I know I'm talking to you. Dara Lee's, give it up for her being on track right now. We got Miss Haley on track for the trip as well, and a couple more. But hey, that trip right there, free food, free trip, and free fun. So, Sal, I can't use my clicker for some reason.
Sorry, I got you.
With that being said, give yourselves a round of applause. 754K this week. Beat last week, even though it wasn't we did 8 spot last week at 750. It slid down to 14, so numbers went up, rank went down, but the most important part is we had 68 riders on the board this week. Give it up for a 71% riding average. Obviously, I want to show you guys where we're on track for the year. We are about 500K ahead of pace. This week was a little bit slower in issued AV, but I know we'll pick it up next week. With that being said, Stout, what do we got next, good sir? What you playing with over there? Got a competition going on right here. So, with that being said, who do we think won? What do you think, Sam?
Association.
Associations? I heard back there. Who do you think, Sam? Associations versus Pipeline Pros, and the winner was Association. So this week, Associations will be competing against Suppy Puppies for the championship. Unfortunately, Associations, y'all gotta knock off Suppy Puppies twice in order to take it, so challenge accepted, I hear. If you guys want to take a look at the individual performances of the supplementals this week, obviously John leading the pack over there with almost 7,000 suppies, but those are your final two teams right there. Let's give it up for your top FTA teams coming in here at 90K on the board. Give it up for the Knights Table. Coming in here at the second place, give it up for the Parcellas. Coming in here at 112K this week. Give it up for the Parcellas. Coming in here at 125K this week, we got the Back Nine Bullies. And then your top FTA team week, coming in at 132K, give it up for SOA. When it comes to your FSLs this week, we got coming in here at 215K on the board, 78% of the team give up $1 billion.
Billions and billions and billions and billions.
And obviously we got at 371K on the board. Give it up for your Knights. Love this top 10. We got a bunch of new people and faces on this thing, but give it up for your new girl, Miss Randy Garbo. At the number 9 spot this week at 17K. I know he's a little under the weather right now, but give it up for your boy, Seth Coleman. Another Parcella making an appearance here. 19K on the board. Give it up at the number 8 spot, Mr. Chris Herrera. Coming in from Sons of Advances at the number 7 spot with 24K on the board. Give it up for the lovely Miss Florida. At 24K on the board as well. Coming in here from Billions.
Billions and billions.
Give it up for your boy, Mr.
We needed a moment of silence. Nigga, we made it.
At the number 5 spot this week, 25K on the board, 10K issued from the Knights Table. Give it up for Miss Joma Lee.
But we ain't using swords and shields, we be using freestyle lyrics.
At the number 4 spot this week, coming in here at 31K on the board, the Back Nine Bully making an appearance up here. Give it up for your girl, Dara Lee. This week, coming in here from Billions, 32K on the board. Give it up for your boy, Mr. John Hanson. In Billions, at the number 2 spot, we got another Batman board up there at 39K. Damn. 31K issued. Give it up for your girl.
She got something cool, I guess whenever I popped up the swamp, get a bitch.
I like that one. Did you pick that?
She went.
Yeah, she picked it.
At the number 1 spot this week, coming in here at 39K. Damn, you just couldn't let her have it, could you? You know? 39K, get in the parking spot and give it up for your boy, Mr. Hailstorm himself. I want to give a quick shout out to these agents that don't quite have a portal yet. Give it up for your girl in the back there, Jess. I see you tucking your head back there. Give it up for 1,800 access in 6 hours.
Take me off your call list.
And then this guy's been on a mission, grinding his ass off, putting in the work. 2 A to Z closing this week, opening this portal up. Give it up for your boy, Mr. Devin. You're gonna be killing us. Want to give a huge shout out for your top paycheck this week. Another young buck in the game, 56K. Give it up, or 5,600. Give it up for your girl, Dara Lisa, the top paycheck. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to these 2 brand new agents in their first week in the business. Coming in here, Ashton at a $2,600 paycheck, and then Miss Wendy coming in here at $2,300. Give it up for And then obviously, give a shout out to your leaders. They don't get much recognition every once in a while. We got to give it to them. But your boy, RJ McGregor, coming in here, 2K on the board. Give it up for RJ. I want to give a quick milestone shout out as well. You've got your girl Wendy over here in her first week with her FNB. Give it up for Miss Wendy.
Hey, she ever lose me, I guess we'll never know.
Give it up for your boy Nagy right over here with his FNB. And then last but not least, give it up for Mr. Ashton Hart and his FNB as well. Also, I just want to take a second. Obviously, this guy, he came from up north down here from Chicago. He's actually in Miami right now in the sun now. How do you like that? Stay a little bit better down there in that heat? I love it. Guys, this kid right here, when I say kid, he's the man, right? Top 10 producer. I believe it's the number 6 in the entire nation. What was that? 5? Top 5 in the nation with $2.6 million in issued business last year. He's taken his time to come chat with us about his approach to the game, his mindset on how to become a winner in this industry. But I want to be honest, he's about to tell you guys that it takes a little bit more than just wanting it to get it at the highest level, okay? So none other than Mr. Safe right over here. Come on up and share with us. Give a round of
What's up? You gonna hold it?
Yeah, you're good.
Can I talk?
Yes, sir.
Alright. What's up, you guys? Whoever put that song is a G, by the way. But yeah, if you guys, is this like a little?
Oh, I can put it on.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got it off the top of my head.
There
So,
we go.
you guys, I've been around since June of 2022, and I didn't FMB until a month and a half later. And I just want to share with you guys a little bit about my story because, funny enough, when I started, I actually didn't start directly under Seth. I think he took over the office like 2 or 3 months later. And that's when, everything started to kick in for me. And I have the same exact resources till this day that everyone here has. But it's easier said than done, obviously. But one thing, you guys, is this business will only work if you guys put in the work. It's not going to get handed for you. You have to work for it. And I want to share with you guys a little bit about what they call the secret sauce, which is really not a secret. It's just about being consistent in tracking the numbers that you're doing on a daily basis and looking for opportunities to scale that, right? So one of the big things is mindset. When I first started, I think I was in week 6 or 7 till I hit my 65K milestone. And then I finished at 280 in my first 13 weeks. So my first month and a half were very slow. I didn't have any sales background when I started. I was in college and I was actually in school part-time till I graduated since June till December. I went to summer school and then I finished the remainder of the semester and graduated by December of 2022. And I just did it for my parents, to be honest with you. But I had a really slow start. Sales wasn't for me. I was in pharmacy school. I worked at a pharmacy before. I had a little bit of healthcare background, but nothing as far as sales or talking to people, none of that. So I was very shy over the phone. And I knew for a fact that if I was going to come into something, that I'm not going to walk out or leave as a failure. I knew I had to come in and make something out of myself. When I came into the office, I saw people who were making like 20 grand a month, and I thought that was like, oh my God, that's crazy money, right? And there's been times where I've done that in a week now. But the way I looked at it is, I looked at the best producer, the highest income earner in the office, and I just looked at what they do, and I was like, they're not doing anything that I think that I'm incapable of doing, right? So I started to work, and I was just doing the actions. Now, seeing no results. First week, I made no sales. Second week, I made a dental. And then third week, and I still wasn't licensed at that point. Once I got licensed, my first 7 weeks were completely blanks. Blanked 7 weeks in a row, and then I got one deal to issue. And then it was a very slow start, and then I just took off like a rocket. And the reason for that is because during those weeks where I was failing, every single week I would build a report for myself. And the report included my pitches or my introductions. So I would include my openings. What would happen during when I get an objection, for example? If I overcome an objection, how did I go about it? Did I overcome it? Did I not? And it was mainly just tracking myself. I remember I had a notebook and I would literally write down how many times I would stutter or say the word or not, or freeze up over the phone. And I did that because I wanted to be conscious of it, because if I'm not conscious of it, I can't stop it, right? So it was a lot of tracking myself, and I just had a very disciplined mindset, and I was like, no matter what, I am not going to fail in this place. And sooner than later, I started to see a little bit of results, and my production started to take off. And then I started investing, right? Because I knew if I wanted to scale, I had to invest. In any business you go into, investment is a very big part of it. And I hear a lot of times people say, well, I can't invest this week because I have this going on. I have to pay my phone bill, I have to pay this bill or my car bill or whatever, right? The truth is, everybody has bills, you guys. But if you're a true business owner, you're not going to shut down your business. You're not going to, if you have a grocery store, you're not going to shut down the store because your rent at home is due. If your rent at your store and your home is due at the same time, you're going to fund your store first, because that's the source where you can pay off everything else you want in life, right? So I knew that was a number one priority. And I really wasn't even expecting to be profitable. I was profitable, but I wasn't if I broke even, I was cool with that, because I understood the long term of the business, right? Your ROI goes up the more business you write and the more leads you buy. Because if I'm investing $500 a week, right? Even if I make back $500 every single week, so I literally break even for an entire year. Well, by the end of the year, with everything that I've sold, my book is already earning a certain amount of money. My association is already at a certain amount. My production bonuses have made me, maybe $20,000 that year. And then my par is paying me a flat fee of $2,000 a month, whatever, right? But I wouldn't have gotten that far if it wasn't for the investment every single week. So I had Seth build this out for me a couple days ago, yesterday, and he basically sent me a PDF or an Excel sheet of everything that I've invested into leads last year, which was $147,000. And just my par alone last year, so basically if you break it up, it's about $2,500 to $3,000 a week. And I'm in FTA right now, so most of it wasn't going to me. $51,000 went to my personal, which is about $1,000 a week, right? So I invested $1,000 a week into my personal leads, and my par alone paid me out $130,000. So would I have gotten that par without investing? No. So that's the way I looked at it. And the main leads that I typically invest in are aged leads. And the reason for that is because I know they have the lowest CPAs, and I know that just because somebody went online today looking for health insurance, it doesn't mean they're going to buy today. They might buy tomorrow, next week, a month later. They might get scammed and then sign up for another policy. Situations change all the time. And if you buy a lead for 5 pennies or 10 cents or even 20 cents or 30 cents, you're going to have that lead basically forever. So every open enrollment, I would go back and reblast all the leads that I've purchased. And I checked before I got here, I have 930,000 leads sitting in one of my systems. And those are just people's names and phone number. So at any given moment, I can go in, text all of them within like 5 minutes and start pulling appointments, right? So I knew it was a system that works, and I'm just gonna put money and make more money out of it, right? If you text 5,000 people, a generic text about health insurance, and usually my text message will start off with like an attention getter, hey, first name, new PPO plans in your area just dropped at more affordable prices if you qualify, can I text you some quotes? Attention getter, and then a question in the end. You want to grab their attention, and then you want to finish it off with a question so you can provoke a response. And then they'll respond back yes. Out of 5,000 people, let's say 100 people respond yes. Okay, and then you qualify all 100 of them. Let's say you get, some of them may ghost you in the process, whatever the case may be. I'll pull, let's say, 15, 20 appointments for the week. So now I'm loaded for the week with 15 or 20 appointments. Average, I'll get about 40 to 50 appointments per week out of just this system, right? But it's just because of volume. And then out of that, I'll typically get about 50K on the board. And if you buy 5,000 leads, if you guys do the math, you're spending, between 1,000 and 1,500, depending on the leads that you buy, sometimes even less because you're matching. But if you're selling 50K, who cares? And tracking your business is really, really, really important. I can't stress this enough. I force my agents to track their business all the time. I have them create their own tracking sheets that are going to help them. So one of the trackers that helped me a lot when I was starting off is I would literally, every single good qualified lead I would speak to goes into a tracker. And I track exactly what happens to it. So by the end of the week, I can look, okay, I've spoken to 74 qualified leads in a week, and I've sold 3 of them. What the hell happened to the 71 other leads, right? And then I'll start looking at my tracker, and I'm like, okay, well, I presented to, 18 of them. And out of 18, 7 of them were completely broke and couldn't afford it. 8 of them wanted to think about it, and I couldn't overcome that objection. And what that would do is it would make me identify where the issue lies. And once I identify where the issue is, then I can actually solve it. So I can work backwards. And now I'm at a point where my pitch starts off by me getting these objections out of the way. So I start off by developing urgency that they need to close today. If they're talking to me, they're closing today. You know, and you guys are in the business of sales. You have to make use of every single lead that is interested. Doesn't matter if they're broke. Doesn't matter if they have certain conditions that wouldn't make them qualified. I'm saying sell them something. There's something of value that you can present to them. You know, you don't have to sell them, like even if you're selling them a supplemental policy. I have a saying on my team that goes around, when somebody gets an unqualified lead, people look at them and are like, do they have teeth? And everyone starts laughing. Basically, can they buy a dental plan? Like, try to make something out of it. Stop complaining, try to make something out of it. I remember I was just telling RJ, there's 1 week where I did 33K on the board, and it was like a really bad week for me. And I was like, geez. And I looked back, and 17K of that was just supplements. It was either a dental policy, an association. It was just like $100 apps here and there. It built up to an extra 17K that week. You know, so it makes a big difference. And you look at it across the entire year. I wish there's a report that I can see how many like baby apps that I put in throughout the entire year that just added up. I can guarantee you it's probably at least 500K. You know, if I'm in the business of making money and selling insurance, then I'm going to make use of every single person that gives me any form of interest, right? Referrals are huge, you guys, and referrals actually correlates to investing a lot, because the more leads you're buying, the more families you're helping, the better you're getting at your job. Well, guess what? The more referrals you're going to get. And who in here, just by a show of hands, sends out thank you cards? Okay, it's like 1, 2 people. You guys, thank you cards are huge, you know. For like here's an example. When me and when my family purchased a home, we had a real estate agent who we just met. He helped us buy our first home, and he was sending us thank you cards on every single holiday. And some holidays like Christmas, he'd send us over like chocolate or a little small gift that probably cost him $5. But it doesn't matter. He was very memorable. Even me, and I was like 16 years old. I remember this guy's full name till this day. And my dad ended up sending him 2 referrals that were family friends of ours, you know. And I guarantee you referrals were a big part. Like his business card was all over our house, you know. So, and it doesn't even have to be anything crazy, guys. Like if you sell a $700 deal, you send him over a thank you card, sell him a $5 Starbucks gift card after he's been on the policy for 2 months. Who cares? You know, it's just the idea of you're still in communication with that client and you're still grateful for them. And people value that a lot. They're going to send you more people because of that. Right? Referrals is just like the system, the pipeline business that we're in. Right? If you work 1 lead that you've sold and try to ask for referrals, you might not see a big difference. But if you sell 100 people in a year, which is not much, it's like 1 sale every 3 or 4 days, and you send out referrals or thank you cards to all of them consistently, you send them when it's their birthday, or you text them when it's Thanksgiving, or whatever the case may be, consistently, you're going to see a very consistent result because of that. And it almost like breaks the ice with the client, because they feel that you're a real genuine human. You're not just a salesman. Nobody likes to be sold to, but people like to buy. Referrals are huge, and one of the other systems I use is I use Facebook a lot, and I use Facebook a lot for my like Facebook groups and whatnot. So I'll go into a lot of Facebook groups, and this is again a pipeline business. So I'll go in like once a month, once every 2 months, and I'll just post into like 100 to 150 groups, and it'll be the same text, you know, about PPO nationwide health plans with low deductibles, blah, 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 blah. Reach out to me if you're interested. I did that for 3 months straight, no response, nobody contacted me. Maybe a couple people DM me on Facebook and that was it. But I didn't get my first sale until 3 months out. But I knew it was a pipeline business. That's how this business is, right? So I would say take advantage of it for sure. If you're a minority, because what I did is I targeted Arabic Facebook groups. Because a lot of times if you go into a travel nurse community or a truck driving community, you're going to notice it's absolutely jam-packed with USHA agents, right? Try to find the groups that you personally can relate to, or minority groups that only speak your language. You know, be a little bit creative, and it will pay off for sure. And CRMs and systems, you guys, I just literally use the same CRMs that I started with, which were VanillaSoft and Ringy. And that was it. I needed a texting platform so I can mass text. And that's where I hold all my leads. And VanillaSoft for dialing, obviously. And also, one thing to kind of go back to is whenever I would blast, let's say I blast 5,000 leads, right? And I get all these responses, let's call it 100 responses that say yes. Any person that ghosts me while I'm trying to qualify them and book them to an appointment goes into a calling list. And I start calling these people if they don't respond to me. And let's say it was 80 of them that ghosted during the process. Now I have 80 hot leads who are interested in insurance. They've already expressed to me interest in the healthcare that I'm trying to sell them. And now I'm just calling them. So I'm calling people that just said yes 2 minutes ago. Or not 2 minutes ago, maybe like within the past day. But yeah, you guys have any questions? Anything you guys want to learn more about? Yes, sir.
So this is more about like before you became an MTA, right?
Yeah.
When you were first starting out, that first year. How did you go about structuring your day/week? Like, so essentially, you know, like Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, did you have a set schedule? Did you have set hours? Was it really more dependent on the type of week you were having in terms of like how much output you would actually have, or was it set in stone across the board?
No, so I had a tough schedule when I started, and till this day, but I worked Monday through Sunday. I worked every single day. Last year I took 2 days off and just 2 Sundays. That was it, aside from 1 vacation. But besides that, I was in the office every single day. I'm not saying that you guys should work that amount of hours, but if you guys want to see, you know, if you guys see yourself as an exceptional person, you have to work exceptional hours. And the input that you put in is going to be a direct reflection of the output that you get from the business. So as far as hours, I don't think I've changed them since I've started. I still work the same hours, which is Monday through Friday, and I'll work 8 a.m. to about 9 p.m. You know, sometimes 10, just kind of depends, but that's typically the minimum. And then Saturday, I typically work from 9 a.m. until 6 or 7. And then Sunday, I'll work from like 11 until 5, 6 o'clock.
Cool,
Yeah.
thank you.
And then just repeat.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
We were talking about referrals, and I don't think I need that, do I?
Yeah, you do.
We were talking about referrals and how you kind of go through your book of business every couple of months to kind of touch that basis. Is that something that you are personally being intentful on yourself? Like you put it in your calendar every couple months, you're going to go through that sales report. Do you use like a virtual assistant for those things? Like how do you still stay organized with that while writing on a high level and running a high level team?
Yeah, funny enough, I don't have an assistant. I haven't had an assistant since December of 2023. So last year, in its entirety, I did everything I did without an assistant. How I do it, I just use a to-do list, and I just cross it off, and it brings me satisfaction every time I cross off something on my to-do list. So I'll know like when there's a holiday, and it's really, a couple holidays in a year. Like I know Thanksgiving was really was a big one for me, and I think I texted because it was you just make a text message and then you have all your sold leads in one file and then you blast them like on Ringy, right? And I'll just say something like, you know, hey so and so, I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve you and your family's healthcare needs. You know, if you know anybody, friends or family that I can also help out, please feel free to send them my way. And I think the reason why Thanksgiving I pulled like, I think it was 7 or 8 referrals is because I sent it in the morning and then throughout the rest of the day, it's just family gatherings. And on top of that, it was open enrollment. So like, I think health insurance was like a common topic across the board and my name was brought up. So, yeah. I just kind of put it on the to-do list and knock it out. And I work 7 days a week, so I have a lot of time to just work.
Safe, is there maybe, sorry, this is loud. Is there maybe a bit of advice that you could give to an agent that may not be where they want to be right this second? If like, let's say you're in your down spell or you're not doing, getting the production that you want. Maybe like one thing that you go to get that kickstart or something that you can advise them to maybe start working on?
I think if you're in a position where you don't want to be, you have to change what you're doing like ASAP. Because whatever you're doing right now clearly isn't working. And if you just keep doing the same things over and over, you're wasting more of your time. You're wasting more leads and more money. You have to change what you're doing quickly, and that would just depend on what it is that's not working, which just goes back to tracking your business. So, for example, one of the most basic trackers, and I'm sure at least some of you guys use this, is tracking how many phone calls you make, how many appointments you get on a regular basis, how many presentations, and how many sales you pull out of those, right? And if you just take a look at, okay, throughout this entire month, I've done an average of 400 phone calls per day. And then I've averaged, this amount of appointments. You'll identify where your problem lies. You'll notice maybe you've had 75% of your appointments ghost you the entire month. And now you've identified an issue that you can start to solve. But you need to start off by looking at your numbers so you can identify areas of improvement and work on it. But just doing the same thing and like trying just harder, sometimes if you're working like 6 or 7 days a week, there's only so much more hours in the day that you can work. If you're working 6 or 7 days a week and you're selling 2 deals a week, you're doing something wrong. And you have to be almost like impatient with yourself. Like you have to fix it quick. You have to identify it quick and do something else. Like what's the worst case scenario? If you do something else and it doesn't work, like you're just in the same spot again. But at least you've tried something else and you've tried enough things different times, you're gonna eventually see different results. So I'd say change quick, go ask your leaders for help, look at your numbers, ask to see your, start writing stuff down as far as what you're doing wrong, and attend trainings. And trainings are super, super, super important. I can't stretch that enough. When I do trainings, it pisses me off when I see people come in with no notes and they're just like staring at me. Because there's someone up there talking to you about something that you need help with. And if you're not gonna take the time to actually focus and pay attention and write things down and go back and read everything that you've taken notes on, and then go back to the trainer and tell them, look, you went over this, and that. I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly, and just kind of go over it again to make sure it glues in your mind. And then go over the training again next week with yourself. That's going to set you apart. But if you guys are doing just what everyone else is doing, you're going to get the results that everyone else is getting. So be exceptional.
Love that, love that. Anybody else got anything? Yes, sir. One more right up here, friend.
I was wondering to know, did you have the same level of personal determination and dedication like in your college and working your pharmacy job, or is that something that you developed when you got into this industry?
No, I didn't have any of that, to be honest. I was only doing it for my parents. To be honest, I was doing entrepreneurship on the side. I was doing e-commerce beforehand, so I did have that drive that I wanted to be successful on my own and get into entrepreneurship, but I just didn't know what that looked like. And once I got here, I found structure, and you know, it's like we're selling a good product, we're helping people, and now I'm in a position where not only am I helping, you know, clients get onto a better policy, but I'm also helping people make money and achieve those dreams as well. So I think I've always had it, it's just the industry.
Perfect, perfect. Oh, we got one more over here. If you could hand that back, Eric?
So I have a question. Obviously you're pretty good with like the age leads. Do you have any advice on how somebody that's trying to get into it? Because obviously you said you're pretty big on the age leads, and you know you think that's the, I guess, smartest way to tackle the business. I guess, in your opinion, how you found success. For somebody getting into it, to at least ensure some level of introductory, success on a smaller scale. Obviously not on a higher scale, but yeah.
Yeah, I would say start off with what you can. Age leads are not expensive, even if you're putting aside $100 a week. But look at your finances and see like, okay, I can dedicate this amount of money towards age leads, but just know that the less you put in, the less you're gonna get. And the more you put in, the more you're gonna get. So, and also I would say start tracking it. Like, okay, out of, 1,000 age leads that I've bought, I've yielded X amount of appointments that were qualified, and then this amount led to, my sales. And this is how much money I've made. And then once you look at those numbers, then you can start kind of scaling them from there. But I would say start off slow and then build your way up, for sure.
McGarity,
One really quick question.
Yeah.
What do you use to track? Like, what's your tracker?
Literally, Google Sheets.
Google Sheets.
Yeah. And I learned it all off YouTube. Like when I came into the business, I didn't even know how to use a spreadsheet. And funny enough, I went to the Miami office to visit, and I just saw one tracking sheet that they've used, and I was like, oh, well, we can make a lot from that.
Love that, love that. All right, guys, I don't want to keep Safe up here for too much longer. We appreciate your time, Safe. Thank you for everything that you've done for us. Give it a I think it boils down to, the people that just have intrinsic motivation, guys, they're the ones that typically are going to find the most success, right? If somebody wants it for you more than you want it for yourself, typically why you're not where you want to be at, right? One thing I can tell you about this room right here, that I know there's a lot of intrinsically motivated people in this room. I know there are a lot of potentially safe producing people in this room, right? It's going to take you guys putting in the time and the energy, and I want you guys to understand, who in this room has been here for longer than 5 years that isn't necessarily making good money, right? There's not very many of them, if any of them, in here. So my point to you guys is that this business, like Safe said, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. We just want to try to figure out how we can run that marathon as fast as possible, okay? And like you said, we don't have more time in the day, but if we have the systems, we have the trainings, we have the knowledge, we can get what we want sooner than later. So once again, thank you, Safe, for everything that you shared with us today, sir. I got like one slide left here. Obviously we got to get to this money sometime today, right? So, with that being said, if you see your name on this list, you will be in this order to get into the cash cube, and I'm pretty sure Seth's got like over $3,000 to dump into that thing. So, with that being said, y'all go ahead, get in line. Besides that, Devin, you mind ending me on a good note here, sir? What? Live! What? Live! What? Live! Cash cube time! Hey, Andy said he got $100 bills in there. Baby,